Now stop beating your gums and sound the attack.
All right. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the We Got the Chocolates podcast. And what's happening in the background there, Skin? What is going on? What have we got here?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, Skin, what you'll
go
find
on.
is that, remember how we were sort of talking about how we needed to get away from just the generic roadcaster song that's always being played?
Yes.
So basically what I've decided, without obviously your knowledge, is that I'm just going to play a different tune every single week. And we're going to hold pretty much trials for them as to which song should come out of our intro and into us speaking, just to build some vibe. What's your feedback?
This could be playing through the whole episode. I
Do
like
you know
it.
what, do you know what it is?
Going.
This is Beach Walk by the Unicorn Heads.
Of course.
It's the,
Yeah.
that's one of your
Our
favourites.
favourite.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I'm enjoying this.
No,
I feel
well,
like I'm at the beach.
I'll just leave it going then. That's it. Absolutely. Outstanding. So that's our song of the week, and then obviously eventually, hopefully we'll choose one that's
So we'll just do that till we find one that sticks.
just till we find one that people like.
Okay.
I'm sure someone will let us know via the
Yeah,
email
right.
address. What other announcements did we have to make, Skin? I feel like there was another big piece of news. We told people that it was episode 37, didn't we?
I don't know if we have mentioned that yet.
Okay,
Have we?
it is episode 37. Second episode of season 3, which is exciting. Mitch, what was the other announcement we had to make?
I don't know. I'm proper rattled at the moment by this song. What am I doing?
Oh, right. I was sort of going to talk about the fact that, normally we link sponsors with Sam Hazlitt as an individual,
Oh, yeah.
and we have an announcement to make.
Yeah. Am I doing that, or has taken it away? Oh,
I thought you should do it because Has got enough of his own sponsors.
okay. Right. Well, for anyone watching later on, they'll notice a bunch of strategically placed bottles on the table that you'll see on YouTube. But we've managed to get Alchemy Cordial Company on as a sponsor, which has been enjoyable. They've got some nice turmeric and chai lattes and things that we've been pumping through a fair bit recently.
Correct.
Yep.
Exactly. That's right.
I've been mixing the chocolate flavour in with my milkshake to make it chocolate milkshake, and some berry flavours as well. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's great. It was great to get them on board because it's obviously something that everyone needs in their life is coffees and syrups and any sort of latte that you're talking about. I don't think there's one person in society that doesn't drink coffee.
Except Has, but apart from that.
Plenty of other options for me though, so it's all right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so that's happened, but it shouldn't really change all that much anyways because we've been name dropping all of Haz's other sponsors every episode forever.
We can stop mentioning those now. We've got our own. We've got our own
Sure,
So we'll
because
just
you
mention
always
one
say that, and yet they somehow always get weaved into the episode somehow. Okay, well, let's have a quick catch up, guys. What's been going on? We've got some big news. We've been away for a little while. It's our first time, all three of us, back together in the studio. What are some of the stories that we have?
Well, with our spare time lately, I guess a few of us have been playing quite a bit of tennis. So Lee and I have been playing a bit, not against each other.
We haven't yet, but that's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, I think tomorrow we've got a match set up there.
Has is usually better in the morning because he surfs quite frequently and always seems to leave when the sharks are feeding. That's when we want to get out there for some reason. So I am worried about that advantage for him.
I did challenge Mitch to a game for yesterday, but he wasn't too keen on one, the early wake up, but also playing tennis in general because he thought he'd be a bit rusty. So
By rusty, you mean he was always crap.
Yeah, I think when I was at my peak, I may have taken one game off lethal. That was maybe about it. I have never been a great tennis player.
Double faulted 4 times.
But Marnus has been a bit too good for Lee the last couple of outings, so I think Lee's going to try and burst me to get some confidence back with a win. But I'll be trying to stop that from
Pretty
happening.
frustrating though. I actually played well today and got beaten 6-2, 6-3. So
I was a bit worried when I got here and I saw the tennis trophies on that cabinet behind me. I didn't notice there was actually tennis trophies there. But
weirdly enough, that is from when I was 11 and it hasn't seemed to have carried over for the next 19 years, which is frustrating, that form. Good. We also had some issues with, I guess, your phone charger arrangement. No, it wasn't phone charger.
Computer
it was
charger.
laptop charger.
Well, I was here the other day, and a bit of a spoiler alert, we were recording an interview with John Millman, so that'll be coming next episode, pre-recorded that one. And
there's someone that actually can play tennis.
Yes. So I was over here using my computer, of course, left. It was at night time, so the next day I got up and sort of quickly checked the house for my computer charger. Couldn't find it. Thought, it'll be in the car, in my backpack somewhere. So left, did a couple of things away from home. Wasn't going to be home for a day or two. I was going to be at my girlfriend's house. So I was looking through my car and threw my bag for my charger, couldn't find it. Rang my parents, asked them to look through the house. They turned the house upside down. They couldn't find it. So I said to Lee, "Oh, mate, my computer charger must be at your house. I must have left it there." And he goes, "No, mate, not here. Just had a look." All right. And then I looked again in the car and I said, "No, it's got to be there. Surely it's there." And he goes, "No, it's not. I'm telling you." And I was like, all right. So I drove all the way home, which I wasn't going to do, which is a bit further for me to drive, and turned the house upside down again, not there. So I said, "Lee, I'm coming over to your house." And he goes, "Yeah, all right, cool." I got here. It took me 1 second. The computer charger was underneath the table where we record every episode, where it always is to charge my computer. And I say, "Mate, it's right there." And he goes, "Yeah, I didn't really have a very good look." Well, why wouldn't you? After I put all this.
No, well, the issue was you'll find that Mac chargers, they are identical twins. They look exactly the same. And I swear I only saw one. And obviously there was two merged together. But I thought that the one that was here was mine, but they'd just gone Siamese twins, and it really confused me. And it was a brief look. I'm a busy man. I've got a lot to do.
Yeah,
This
no,
video's
you're
don't make
lazy
me-
and you don't care about
And I'm not
what
a busy
matters to
man.
anyone else.
I'm going to do everything around here.
Oh my goodness.
Mainly the dishes, always.
And you can't pay attention to two things at a time and you just get distracted. You're a pest.
Okay. Well, moving on from that. Thank you. That's enough heat there, Haz.
Well, I guess as people would have seen on my social media pages, I've been doing plenty of surfing, which is my normal exercise activity. So I'm allowed to go to the beach and do it. So don't.
Is that how
I thought that
isolation
changed
works?
today. Didn't the I thought beaches got closed today.
I think a couple have from now on, but I think there's still a couple open. But
Well, you will find those ones. Okay.
I bought a surf skate, so practice my surfing. It's like a skateboard, but front axles rotate. So if the beaches do close, I can practice on land. And funnily enough, Mitch was actually also given a surf skate for his birthday. So
I was.
we've been carving around a bit
and hated it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a slightly funny story behind that as well, because I didn't really want a surf skate for my birthday, and it accidentally came up in conversation that I didn't like these objects before I realised I was getting it.
At least it wasn't with anyone important
With
in your life.
the person who gave it to me, which is my girlfriend. So
right. Yeah,
that went down a treat when I was accidentally hosing her about the present without realising that she'd gotten it for me. That was great.
Unfortunately, when God made Mitch, he forgot to give him that part where, when people give you presents that you don't want, you just say, "Thanks very much. That's excellent. Like, I'm pleased." But Mitch does not do that. He's literally, something's wrong with him.
No, get out of here. I normally am able to work that out, but on this occasion, I had already blown up about the present before realising that I was getting it. It sort of, I've got myself in a sticky situation, but that's all right. I've ended up with a surf skate, and Has taught me how to.
Yeah, so he's
Use
actually
it,
embraced
so,
it now.
yeah.
It's a great turnaround story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a real
Really
lesson
come a long
for
way.
anyone that's riding off surf skates out there. Surf skates.
Scapes.
Mark Scape. Surf skates even. It's also been a very tough week for cars, everyone. And I think a lot of people are tuning in probably to find out about this situation because it's generated some heat on social media. But before we actually get to that, you had an incident with your car, first of all.
Yeah,
Briefly run us
my
through
next
that
door
one.
neighbour backed into my car, so I've got a rental car at the moment while mine's being fixed. Bays had his car ran into also.
Correct.
But-
But the Bays story is very funny because I feel like I can't do it justice because I don't want to name the person, but he actually had his car backed into by a celebrity, essentially. I'm going to say like a list A celebrity, like it wasn't Orlando Bloom or Margot Robbie, but it was, well, it tests his relationship with the Brisbane Lions and his dedication to them. Let's just say that. So that was quite interesting. And then, Skin, obviously the big news of the week, which you've been following heavily.
Yeah, it was an incident with your car where you
was.
had your last day at school last week, I think, last Friday or something.
last
and
Friday,
and yeah, so we're packing up your office and had to go back to your room to get one more folder out of your car, into your car rather, and left your car unlocked with your wallet in it. Probably not the best move ever. But
How was I meant to know? And
to be fair, nicely assuming the best of the general public.
just want to give them a chance. I always want to give people a chance,
yeah. And then
including street kids.
came back rather disappointed to find some sort of drug addict sitting in the driver's seat of your car.
alleged drug addict.
Alleged, yeah. He wasn't using drugs at that particular time.
Okay, right. Surely the spots on his arm are pretty good evidence, but we'll
Skin on, that could be
Okay,
anything.
yeah,
Might be a
okay,
bad
alright.
case of mosquitoes at the moment.
Oh, yeah,
You never
this
know.
is true.
Yeah, no. Well, pretty much you've summarised it quite well. Obviously, a lot of boxes to get down from my office
Yep.
out to the street. Cars parked 500 metres away. Heaved them all out there. Had to make 2 trips. Moved the car in as 4:45 in the afternoon. So there's no one left at school. I was the only one there. Moved all of the key back in, car back in, parked in the school underneath the staff room in the empty staff car park. Right. I don't know why. I still don't understand. I think I was slightly disappointed in myself, but I've obviously made the decision to go, well, I'm going to be 35 seconds running upstairs, looked around, there's no one here. Bang, wallet, still on the seat. I'll leave that there for who knows what reason. Quite baffling. Car unlocked, keys in my pocket, phone in my pocket. Ran upstairs, grabbed the box, ran downstairs, and interestingly, I went straight to the boot without actually looking into my car. And so I've gone to the boot and gone like, what the heck is the music playing? Like, this seems really weird. I would not have left music on in my car. I definitely know I turned it off. But I thought nothing of it. Just like, oh, obviously I'm losing my mind. So I walked to the passenger seat then to put the other folder into my car. And as I opened the door, I've just looked at this bloke and gone, what in the world are you doing? There was a guy just sitting in my driver's seat, just sitting pretty, just very brazen, very happy to be there. And he just gave it a bit of, oh, bro, I just needed somewhere to chill out. And I was like, not here. Definitely not in my car.
Not the spot.
Get out, please. I've then obviously realised that I made the fatal mistake of leaving my wallet in the car, looked at the passenger seat, and it is not there. It is gone. And I said, you've got my wallet, mate. Give it back now. And he said, no, there's this blonde guy. There's this little blonde guy. He ran down the street. I'll take him to you. And I was like, that is not true. You're a liar. By this stage, I've walked around to the driver's seat, taken a photo of him, going, mate, I'm getting a photo of you. It's going to the police. Get out of the car and give me my wallet. In order to prove that he didn't have my wallet, he jumped out of the car and showed me his bum bag, which featured 3 other wallets that I could see.
But weren't yours?
But weren't mine.
Okay.
No. At this stage, he started to get very, very irritated, telling me that I could search him, but then also running away from me at the same time, which seems sort of counterproductive. I was unsure of how I was meant to search him with his running away. But he was getting angry. He was swearing at me, spraying me. I'm on the phone trying to call the police. And as I got to them, they said, please get away from him. He might be armed. Don't go near him. Just sort of try and follow him and find out where he is. So I've obviously done that, gone to the car, followed him, saw him run into this house, and I immediately thought that he was an idiot and didn't know that I was still following him and just ran straight into his house, hoping that no one would ever see him. And so I was kind of keen to get away from that particular house because I thought there might be other people in there who quite like him. I didn't really want to be confronted by that amount of people. So I sort of pulled up, 50 metres down the road and just watched the house to make sure that no one went in or out of it. Right. I was just thinking, I've told the police where the address is. They'll come. I'll just go in that house. Bang, they'll go and get him. That was how it sort of played out in my head. Yeah. Unfortunately, then I got a notification on my bank account saying that $94 had just been spent on yellow cabs. So I was sort of sitting in my car going, well, I don't think that I've just spent that, which would indicate that there was no blonde kid. He actually does just have my wallet.
Why didn't he choose someone else's wallet that he had to choose the card in?
Yeah, that's right. I was like Russian roulette, maybe. He's played Russian roulette by himself. You know when rich people go out for lunch and they just all hand in their credit card and see which one gets turned? He just got to do it by himself, which unfortunately mine was the lucky one that got pulled out. So the cab driver obviously is very suspect of him, has made him pay $94 up front to get him to wherever the heck he needed to go. I'm unsure where he did need to go, to be honest. I think maybe like Wet and Wild or something with my new bank card because it seemed like a long way away. Yeah, that's right. And so it was at that stage that I sort of realised I don't think he's in the house anymore, unfortunately. And as it turned out, the house that he'd run into was just completely random people who had kids and were obviously not very keen on him being in there. And then he'd ran into another house and screamed at a guy to order him a cab. And that guy obviously had done it because he also wasn't a real fan of having a potential person that quite likes, how would you say, recreational activities in his house either. And so therefore, cab driver, bang, taken him, and I've never seen him since. Or my wallet, or sunglasses for that matter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great. So that was...
Someone has seen him since, though. We have got an update, haven't we?
No one's seen those particular items.
No.
But someone did pick him up that particular night.
Yep.
But then didn't know about the crime that I was reporting him for at that stage. So he's since been let go and is still on the run.
Yeah.
Where the story gets interesting is that obviously I thought that I would elect to try and help out the police officers. I've sent them the photos and gone, here you go, guys. They obviously came and took a statement off me and stuff. But the couple of police officer friends that I have said, by all means, put it on social media. Hopefully it means that no one will employ him in the future. Someone will know him. It'll make the process quicker, et cetera, et cetera. So I've shared it on social media. And then that is really where the story becomes quite interesting, which you would not think. But I was sort of thinking that like someone in the Cleveland area might know it, like that he might be a kid that's known to police and someone might be able to go, oh yeah, actually I saw that guy at Woolworths yesterday. What has since happened really is that it's been shared nearly 5,000 times.
Perfect.
People in America are now getting it.
Thinking it's Cleveland in America.
They're trying to find this kid.
In Cleveland, Ohio, wherever Cleveland is.
Oh
in
my
America.
goodness. Vladimir Putin's onto it. Russia. It's been insane.
And in hindsight, you probably should have posted it on the We Got the Chocolates page and with the 4.3 thousand
Yeah.
shares that it's had.
That's right. But
might have got a
in
few more
fairness,
followers,
Mitch got a comment on there and they got 19 likes after the 4,000 shares. So, I mean, that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah, good conversion rate.
Yeah, so great conversion. So it hasn't been completely fruitless for the podcast. Don't worry, it has. But you're right. If we ever have a car or wallet stolen from this point on the podcast, please. What's quite funny is that the nature of the comments are not overly supportive of me. I think it's fair to say. And I think, like, not to play the victim, but I was the victim.
Yes. Yeah.
But that doesn't really come across that way if you read through the comments. If you've got to spare 15 hours, I would encourage you to read through the comments. They're quite interesting. Mainly, it's basically my fault, I think. People are angrier at me than the guy that stole my wallet.
yeah, literally. It's bizarre, isn't it? Because I mean, like as far as I'm aware, I'm not exactly someone that loves a biff, but it seems like you've done the right thing. You've called the cops, done exactly what they told you to do. They're the people that generally fight crime. You've sort of left that up to them, and then carried on with your life. But no, it doesn't come across that way. So we've ended up with probably the longest social sin bin segment in the history of the social sin bin segment. So
play the intro for you.
give us an intro, and then we'll get into it.
This is a social sin bin. We gotta have this chat again. We found some people who got themselves in the deep end. Well, I stand inside so we can let these fly. Go for 10 and revive.
Heck of a tune.
Thank you, Lethal. All right, I guess I'll take the reins, Az, if that's all right. So we started off with...
That's all right.
Well, everyone, you were just staring at me like...
That's just
we haven't got this
blank
segment
expression.
I think
highlighted.
I've got some more words coming up soon. So
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll get on to
Well,
it.
feel free to jump in, Haz, unless you are one of the people that commented saying you should have bashed him.
I'm worried.
That's why Haz is staying quiet.
But yeah, no, so obviously it started off with plenty of the typical comment, which was just, you should have flogged him. Why did you let him get away? etc. Then someone got a little bit more, even more violent and said, I can't believe he wasn't gutter stomped into oblivion, which I thought, it's a pretty harsh penalty for a bit of petty theft, I would think.
That's great.
The life sentence.
Yeah.
And a few other people asking, like, why does he still have teeth? Why does he still have kneecaps?
You didn't actually have teeth to start with.
Fantastic. And then I just loved all the comments that were, I mean, they were like sort of general questions or this is what you should have done. But they were followed by hundreds of comments of, I personally would have dusted him, or he wouldn't have left walking if he was in my car. Like, just apparently every male in the country is just
person
a
is a genius,
superhero.
boy.
They've all got black belts in who knows what.
I think though, Lee, if you'd put on that caption that you were a wicket keeper, maybe they would have understood that, you know, you wanted to look after your fingers, didn't want any broken fingers from punching a guy. So
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Also, potentially, he may have had straight coronavirus. It's obviously never tested, but in these times, Haz, you can't be too careful. Also, I think the fact that might have come into it is my win-loss ratio for fights thus far in my life is 0-1. And you which way do you think that ledger is, Skinnled?
Against you, I would suggest.
One loss, and I didn't even know that I was in the fight, so and therefore did not throw. I didn't even enter, really. I was beaten before I'd worked out that I was in the ring.
It's all making sense as to why Queensland Cricket have made us Bulls players do boxing in pre-season. We did all these early morning boxing sessions just in case someone was in our car trying to steal our wallets.
I'm doing a 12-round fitness with Mum, making sure that I know how to throw one in future, because apparently that's the only way that you can solve any issue in life.
Just punch your way out of it.
That's right.
But yeah. So it got pretty violent, and then it got sort of weirdly personal, with a few people commenting. And you didn't even smack him. Sorry, bud, but people like you are the reason that these people never learn. Like, it's entirely your fault that crime is occurring.
That guy's going to the bin. Good night.
Sure.
nurse.
Give him some.
He's
And
gone.
I just love that people, like, everyone just assumes that you're just the best boxer ever. Like,
What I love the
anyone
most
that's
is
met you and
all of
realizes
them-
you're 4'9".
Maybe you should have put a third picture up of you and your stature.
This is me, not the most intimidating creature, which I think someone goes on to say at some
This
point.
is a wet towel. See the similarities.
Exactly.
Oh dear. But what I don't get about all these people is that many people commented. Do they realise that like not everyone can win the fight?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So many people commented saying like, I would have won, I would have won, I would have won, I would have beat him. Like, do all these people ever come across each other at some point? They can't all be that good at fighting. I don't understand.
One person has to win. And I'll give you a hot tip. It's not you or me, Lethal.
No, it's just definitely
We
not.
aren't winning a fight with anyone. Anyways, what did we have next? Oh yeah, this was a crowd favourite. Why didn't you beat him up and get everyone's wallets back? To which Lethal replied, because I'm not Bruce Wayne. Genuinely,
But
like,
genuinely,
why is it your job to go around?
I'm not like. What am I? I'm just like out there just fighting for justice in the daylight hours. Like I already made it quite clear that I was a teacher, not a superhero.
Yes, exactly. And then, well, on maybe a slightly more serious note, the reply to that was then some males aren't men. Like as if
Yeah, that makes
beating the
sense.
bejesus out of people is the criteria for being a man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's like the initiation.
Yeah.
Skinner, didn't you have to do that on your 18th birthday?
No, I definitely did not. I feel like there are plenty more attributes that I don't know, make people manly nowadays, and I would have hoped that more of society was onto that, but apparently not.
That's probably been the scariest thing, I think, is the amount of people living in the dark ages.
Yeah.
Like that thing that saying stuff like that is just an acceptable thing now. Like in 2020, it's like, oh, some guys aren't men. You're a pussy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was one. That was one
Because I
further down. I
punch
won't
you.
read that out again. Yeah.
Okay. Whereas,
But yeah, agreed. I can't understand that. Anyway, so in amongst all of these violent comments, there was one grandma decided to get involved and say, you should have squirted him with your hand sanitizer.
Far too valuable these days. That's like saying you should have wrapped him in toilet paper. You're not doing that.
no chance. I tell you what, there was actually another grandma that got involved, Skinnled. She was my favourite in the whole thing. She went through and was the resident grammar police, which we need. I was fine, considering some of the comments that I was reading were very hard to decipher. So I didn't mind that at all. So she sort of went through and to everyone that said should have, as in mostly connected to should have bashed him, should have gutter stomped him, should have
Yeah.
you know, asked for his bag back.
Oh yeah.
Which I think you're getting to. But she went through on every one of those and said should have with a little asterisk, should have asterisk. But then the best thing was, like, that wouldn't be overly entertaining by itself, but I've never seen someone do this. She then found comments that had written should have and wrote, thank you for writing should have.
That's good.
Just giving people positive and negative feedback. It's fantastic.
Need more of that. But yeah, as you alluded to, someone else came up with this brilliant comment, Lethal. I would have said,
Oh, no, stiff.
yeah, no, so he's off to a bad start.
Can't
I
leave
would
it in.
have said, hand over the bag now and recovered all wallets, etc. for owners and yours.
Yes,
I think,
the funny thing about that is that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. And strangely enough, he wasn't that keen.
No, it was really weird. I was like, hey, mate, can I have my wallet back, please? And you may as well just give me the bag and I'll search it. And he was like, no. I was like, what do you mean no? I just asked you to do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Oh, good God. Another cracker. How did he know your PIN number?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of dark ages, I don't know. It's weird. He just signed off on a check for me. It's really strange.
Bizarre. And then I mean, I think so. There was that comment, and then the next comment down was something horribly violent. Why didn't you bash the sea? But someone had obviously tried to reply to the previous comment, so that thread ended up being funny because it was why didn't you bash the sea, followed by any sale under $100 does not need a pin, pay wave only. So I got to chuckle
Poor
out of that.
guy that wrote, "Why did you bash the sea?" and he's getting feedback about the pin. He'd be like, wait, what? What just happened? I must have been drunk as last night when I wrote this.
So that was a good one. When was there time to take photos? Surely you would smash him in the face
this was a
before you got
common
your camera
theme.
out. I call fake news.
That was my. I call fake news. Wait, read the
Thank you, Donald Trump.
Wait, so when was there time to take photos? Because I should have been busy bashing someone. Because I wasn't bashing them, it's fake news.
Yes,
So
that's
just
the
so I
logic.
understand that one right. That's straight to the bin. Thank you. And knock the microphone out. Apologies.
Thank
Keep
you,
going,
Lethal.
Skinner.
Not that I'm victim blaming or anything, but don't people lock their doors and take their wallets with them? I'm one of those people who takes their wallet and keys and locks the doors of my cars if I leave it, which, hate to attack you here, Lethal, is a fair point. But interesting that he says, not that I'm victim blaming or anything, but I'm about to blame the victim.
That is the classic way that you know you're about to. Look, not that I'm racist,
Yeah, but
and
Or
that's
the
an incredibly racial statement.
Lethal, no offense, but
Yeah, that's right. That if you're premising it with that,
Yeah.
you are definitely going to attack someone 100%.
why didn't you just grab the grub by the throat and give him a good flogging right then and there, then call the police so other people could get their stuff back? That's what I would have done. Anyone tries to steal my shit and they better be prepared to fight for it. I think he was quite prepared to fight.
Yeah, that's right. I think that guy, I feel like everyone thinks that this guy was like a 4-year-old kid that couldn't speak English. or
Yeah, like
something.
he was
It's
really cooperative.
Why does it matter if he couldn't speak English?
Oh, just that he was that young that he hadn't yet learned English. So anything that I was going to say would just oh yeah, good idea. Sorry, I'm sorry for getting in your car and stealing your stuff. It was a total accident. That's not really the scenario I was faced with.
Yeah.
People are struggling to get that.
Yeah, funnily enough, he was quite prepared to fight for it. And then the last one, funnily enough, that you just said that about being a kid, because this person says, he's an effing kid, you should have just knocked his ass out.
Ass.
I think, yeah. And
the word ass.
if you beat a kid, I feel like, isn't that a bigger crime? You can't just roll around beating children.
No, well,
I mean, unless they're
particularly as a
your
teacher.
children, but probably not as a teacher who's just found a kid.
Really frowned upon. To say the very least.
That hurts the blue card. But
And then there was another one that was really funny. Just get on from Dylan that says this is funny because Bronny, our sister, has just messaged me saying Carly Rose really getting to the root of the problem. Who is the person that's correcting the spelling?
all the should haves.
Yeah. But there was one that said, I would have bashed the F out of him. Not that I'm a violent person, but honestly, I would have bashed him. So,
good girl.
yeah, not that I'm a violent person, but I'm saying that I'm going to bash him twice.
Yeah, right.
Just to reiterate. There was also another one where the thread just got really off topic, where they talked about what was more dangerous, a knife or a gun.
Oh, yeah, cracker.
Which was quite interesting. Where Brendan told us that you should have bashed him because he obviously didn't have a gun. Someone else commented back saying, what if you had a knife? And Brendan said, you'll be fine with the knife because they have to be within 3 feet.
Yeah, no one's ever been stabbed to death. You're fine if it's a knife. Only guns are dangerous.
Yeah, stabbings are fine. In fact, they probably make your life better. That was Brendan's point of view.
No, but he also said you have to be within 3 feet to stab someone. I would have knocked him out, not letting him go that close. Surely you have to be within 3 feet to knock someone out as well.
That's certainly the way I understand it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's pretty much just some of the quality that we got.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So it was really good. Like at the end of the day, thanks to Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and these type of characters for commenting on that particular thread. It was good because now I know that if I'm ever faced with that situation again, all I have to do is obviously grab him by the throat, punch him through the door, knock him out, call the cops, bash him left-handed, drag him out, skull drag him, then stomp him. And then what else do I have to do? Oh, get everyone's bags for them, refit, but then also ask him for the bags.
Yep.
So apart from that, call the cops as well. I do have to call the cops too.
Then drive around handing everyone back their wallets.
Make sure that
that's
I
your
set-
responsibility.
I've got to set time aside for that as well. And then obviously bash him one more time just to be sure.
Polish it off.
Shave my moustache, and then
Cure for coronavirus if you don't mind.
So Pretty easy, really.
Yeah.
So I
Simple
can
task.
definitely see where I went wrong in hindsight. So thank you very much for your help, everyone. That was great.
All right, everyone. So like probably a lot of our listeners would have seen on our social media pages over the last couple of days, we're going to do a lot about esports today because there's not a whole lot of other sports going on at the moment. So we thought it was a great opportunity to talk about esports.
And Has, you've actually been looking for an opportunity to talk about it because you are quite a gamer, really. People wouldn't know that about you because you're an athletic type of guy, but you also don't mind the screen time, do you?
Oh, look, I enjoy any type of competition, whether it's virtual or sporting in real life. But I'm not very good at esports. I definitely can't claim to be good at video
which
gaming.
Which is why we actually had to go past you, Haz, and your expertise, and actually get someone else to speak about it, didn't we?
We did. We've enlisted the services of an expert in the area. So
he's on the line at the moment. He can actually hear us, but we haven't faded him. We haven't Darth faded him in yet.
Yeah. So we're talking today to Dave Wheel, who owns the business Prestige Esports and runs Butters Gaming. Dave, are you there?
Hey guys, how are we?
Oh, he's there. Magnificent, Butters. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I guess we probably we've spoken a little bit about nicknames on the podcast. You've listened before, I know that for a fact, so you probably are aware of that. This has nothing to do with esports, but can you please tell us how you got the nickname? Well, obviously from being Dave to being Butters.
It's funny how nicknames can run pretty much shortly back in under 12s. Somehow made the rep squad that year. It was actually with Mitch as well that I made it with.
Hey, you always forget that Mitch has played rep sport.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Back when Skin was actually a half decent touch football player. He was back in rep side.
Half. It's funny that actually when he was playing, he was handy. As soon as he gave up, he wasn't that good anymore.
Does tend to do that. Quitting.
Yeah.
But carry on.
Just as simple as not being able to catch the ball. I literally get an absolute pill from, say, Mitch in the middle and would just absolutely drop it. It was not even close to catching it. I just look like just long arm, just nothing. I was a chubby kid back then, so I had a lot of meat to catch it with and just could not catch it to save a life.
I mean, a lot of people have been called Butterfingers in their life at some stage, but yours has gone so far as that you've got a whole page called Butters Gaming and all this sort of stuff going on.
Yeah, that really stuck. He dropped a lot of touch balls. But then you turned yourself into a gun winger eventually, Butters. You got there?
Yeah.
And he's also a fellow Sheldonian who went to Sheldon College like myself, so he'll increase the average IQ on the table here for sure while he's with us, along with the good bloke factor too.
Jeez, anything else, Haz? You want to go through all your greatest attributes? All right, can you get on to some esports, please?
Let's get stuck in.
So esports, for people who don't know out there, there's about 454 million viewers of esports worldwide from what I could find with my research.
And they all responded to our poll during the week.
Yeah, well, most of them did, I'm sure. With global revenues topping $1 billion in 2019, about 85% male viewers, apparently, and the majority between 18 to 34 years old. China and South Korea apparently are early pioneers, with Japan quite behind in the early days due to their anti-gambling laws prohibiting paid professional gaming competitions. Apparently that's...
So Butters Gaming not huge in that country?
Well, no, not that mainly Australia and Saudi Arabia to begin with. So
Australia and Saudi Arabia, that is an interesting combination.
Got a weird following from Saudi Arabia. I've got a few people who jump on during the streams and says hi. So yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, right.
Holy Moses. I was not expecting that as a little combo deal.
Yeah.
Also, guys, a game that probably is familiar with a lot of people, Space Invaders, was a championship run by Atari in the US, probably the largest scale competition with about 10,000 people back in 1980. It was an early one back in those days. And but now some of the biggest esports are non-sports games as such, like League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Super Smash Brothers, and StarCraft. So I'm sure Dave knows even plenty more, but there's some might I can find online.
I know a few of those.
I don't think Super Smash Brothers I'm aware of, aren't I?
Yeah, surely.
Okay, good.
And Dave, 64% of our viewers went to poll and our followers, and they said that video games were not a sport in their opinion on social media. This is your chance to put your argument forward as to why it is a sport.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to it. I can see why people see that because at the end of the day, the only physical activity they're doing is moving their thumbs or moving a mouse and keyboard. So don't get me wrong, to all your viewers and everything like that, I completely understand why it went that way. Mm-hmm. But when you get to the professional level, especially when you go to your Asian countries and everything like that, they are doing training every day for this. So just like you are, like professional athletes are, they train every day. They make sure their muscles, their bodies are ready for the game on the weekend. These athletes or these players are doing the same thing during the week. They're not just playing game in, game out. They're studying the new patch notes. They're making sure they've got their character right there. They're doing everything they can to make sure when it comes to game day, they know exactly the playing field and how it all works. Games like League of Legends, there is 155 characters that you can pick from in that game, and each of those players know that if this player picks that character, this player counters it, and then this player works along with it. It's so much knowledge to the game rather than just I'm good at playing Call of Duty, I can shoot people a lot. There is so much study and so much knowledge of the game that's needed. So yeah, it's not just playing video games pretty much.
That's unbelievable, honestly. Butters, can you just clarify one thing for me, please? What are patch notes?
The patch notes are for any game out there, they'll realise that every, say, month or so, you'll have an update to do on your console or your PC. That's what patch notes are. So basically, the designers have found that a few bugs are in the system or a few things need to be improved to allow the game to work better. That's what the patch notes are. The designers will release this statement saying these are all in detail. Say for guns, for instance, these guns now do a little bit more damage or these ones do a little bit less damage because they realised that they were too powerful, weren't powerful enough. And then players will need to go through, research that whole patch note so that they know what changes perhaps they now need to make to their game.
Yeah, right. And Butters, I just wanted to add to your argument actually, because I was having a chat the other day with someone who said that a lot of the esports training can get quite physical in terms of fitness, because I'm like, don't you have to stay up for outrageously long periods of time and stuff in some of these competitions?
Yeah,
like
in terms of battling fatigue.
Yeah, especially when you get to your continent finals, you're traveling time zones all the time. So your qualifying matches might be at 3 a.m. in the morning. So that's the other thing as well. You're training your mind constantly. So that's the other thing. These guys don't just sit at a screen 5 days, 7 days a week. They are actually getting outside. They're still getting their physical activity, but also doing exercise that strengthens their mind, everything like that. Make sure they're awake when they need to be.
Unbelievable, okay. Honestly. I've been pretty it's just a world. It's a whole other world to what I'm aware of, to be honest. It's amazing. But in terms of your business, how does that actually work? Just for our listeners out there that are probably they're quite new to esports like myself, I guess. How does it go to being a financially viable option for you?
There's a couple of ways that it works. There's the online option and then there's the in-person option. So games that can be easily cheated, like i.e. Fortnite, for instance, needs to be done in person just so we can actually have people watch these players play the game, plus they're using our machines. But any game, say Call of Duty, that's not that hard to hack or cheat or anything like that. We're happy to actually run online competitions. They pay an entry fee depending on the style of comp. They play a certain amount of games, and then there's a winner at the end of it.
So what you're saying, that's why I'm always losing at Fortnite when I'm playing at home, is because everyone else at home is cheating. So I've got no chance.
Cheating, I reckon.
Do you believe that some people are born with like a more of a natural video gaming ability, or can anyone train and become the best of the world in a certain game?
No, it's the same thing as normal sport. You have a natural ability to, it's your awareness, it's your sharpness, it's just its general movement of the controller or the keyboard and mouse in particular. If you're naturally born with it, then you'll go further with it. But it is also probably a little bit more lenient in terms of you can train yourself to get to that point. Where sport, with touch footy, there is a certain level of natural ability that you can have to get yourself to that level. Yeah. Video games certainly train to get yourself to that level.
I understand that. I reckon, no matter how many balls of leg spin bowling I'd bowl in the nets or expert coaching I got, I'd never be better than a 6th grade standard leg spin bowler, I reckon.
Is this in real life on Ricky Ponting cricket 2000?
I probably could do it on Ricky Ponting cricket, I don't know, but in real life I'm no hope. So
what's the e-sport that you are the best at? What's the game that you're most naturally gifted at, do you think?
COD for me, definitely Call of Duty. So it's how I got into the e-sport area. I actually started doing competitions of Call of Duty. So.
Okay. So were they genuinely we're in isolation at the moment, right? So we're getting pretty into our gaming. well, we still haven't played yet, but we plan on getting into our gaming. So is that genuinely like when the isolation zone's lifted, we can just rock up to a competition and we can play, or is there like qualifying events, or how do you actually get into it?
No, yeah, so I do a little bit of both. So I partner up with other eSport organisations where we will do qualifiers, and then from there, our top players from both the organisations will play against in a larger competition. But say the weekend competitions that I have, they literally it's literally just a Saturday. You organise a Saturday afternoon to come down, you verse other players, and the winner comes at the end of it.
Outstanding.
Yeah, well, the only reason I say I'm okay at Call of Duty is because I like playing the zombies version where it auto aims for you. All you have to do is click the aim button and it aims on the closest zombie. So that makes it a lot easier for me.
That does help. I think that might fall under the cheating aspect, but that's all right.
Having said that, has got me to play that game with him as a duo, and I still managed to stink it up, and he abused me the whole time for dying.
But as I just wanted to get back to the training business, hasn't plenty of research come out suggesting that like playing video games actually helps with other sports, like has your leg spin, for example, perhaps could get better if you played a little bit more Call of Duty. And I wanted to ask Butters how your touch career has been going, and any other sports you play in since you've started this business.
Good question.
I'd definitely say strength and fingers. In terms of like being a
catching rate has improved.
yeah, exactly. Have you caught more?
I went all right with touch towards the end there. Yeah, no, definitely strength towards in fingers and everything like that definitely improved because of consoles, because of playing, and sharpness in terms of being able to think, and like your mind in particular. Like you're in a fast-paced situation, you're going to try and make a certain decision at the time. I can definitely say I use that type of mindset when it gets to gaming, especially in like your battle royale modes, like the new Call of Duty one, where you got 150 people in one game. You get some pretty intense modes at those points, and you need a pretty quick mind to be able to think about the right decision. So.
Yeah, that's sort of more what I was thinking about, like that ability to quickly react.
Well, there are suggestions that it might be considered into a future Olympics as an event. So that's how strongly people feel it as a sport.
So, Butters, is that why you've retired from all other sports? You're looking for the Olympics as soon as it gets the green light?
Hey, that'd be the dream. If I could do Olympics, that'd be awesome.
I reckon. I'll tell you what, you could probably I'd be interested to see what your best, you know how they say like cricketers are at their best when they're like early 30s? What do you reckon you're at your best in terms of esports?
It depends, especially now with the day and age that we have. We have kids who, what was it, a 13 or 14-year-old that won the World Cup for Fortnite.
Yeah.
The more technological the world gets, the more younger our gamers are going to get. So right now, you see your professional gamers retire about 29, 30, and they hit they first get into the league about that 17, 18 mark. So you can probably say that your prime's about the 25, maybe 24 mark, but after that, then you start dying out.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Butters, final question. Has there been any link between early onset arthritis in the fingers and professional e-gamers?
Nothing that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely. Butters, that's a genuinely fascinating chat for me, and I very much look forward to picking your brains as I try to take down Mitch and Haz in future. You actually voted in the poll today as to who would be the best gamer. Who did your vote go to?
I did say Mitch, actually, surprising enough. I didn't realise Haz was such a gamer.
He's not. He's trying to bluff you.
Wow. Mitch did have the most votes. I was a close second with Lee far behind in both the votes.
I'm naturally gifted.
I think I am the only one that has a gaming device at my house. Lee and Mitch don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox. At least I have a PlayStation at my house and a Wii and stuff. So
I'm trying to talk Mitch into finding room in the We Got the Chocolates budget for a PS4, but he hasn't budged so far.
I think we will have to get a Call of Duty or Fortnite competition happening between the three of us, or maybe even FIFA or NFL. I've got those ones as well, so we could give those a crack.
Butters, are you a PS4 or Xbox man?
I'm that much of a gamer. I've got all four, so Switch, PS4, Xbox, and the PC.
What was the first one you said?
Nintendo Switch.
They're cool. I've seen quite a few of those getting around since.
Oh, here we go. We've got him on board. With the Nintendo Switch.
I could get around the Nintendo Switch.
Butters, that's fascinating. And you've also mounted a very, very strong argument for the rest of our listeners, so I look forward to the feedback, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And that was David Butter's Wheel with some expert opinion there on esports. So that was really good to hear from him.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Knows
I can't
his-
wait to
knows
get
his
into
stuff,
it.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I can't wait to verse you guys. I think I'm a real underdog here.
Yeah, it's almost convinced me on the budgeting, Lethal, for PS4. Although,
That is great news. Thank you, Butters.
I swear a PS5's around the corner. We might as well wait for that.
Can we get some betting odds between the three of us? Or like some sort of
Yeah, surely.
market going on?
Yeah, that's right. We're just talking about budgeting, and then Haz wants to get into betting.
We could be the bookmakers. A way to make some money. The bookmakers always come out on top.
That's true. Genius.
So we've also had some more content that our viewers gave us, some questions we asked, what their favourite games were. So top of the list, a couple probably obvious ones, NBA 2K, FIFA. Cricket 19 was a big one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and funnily enough, there was actually a couple of other cricket games, Cricket 05, Ashes Cricket, both got a mention. I was surprised that those ones all got mentions when I'm not really much of a fan of PlayStation, Xbox cricket games. I just find that they're too easy or too hard, and no one actually picked stick cricket.
Too easy or too hard.
Well, the game's either one or the other. It's like...
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, but what about the commentary? The commentary was unbelievable. In the air, out, dropped. That's a hat trick to Langer. No? Okay.
No, that's classic. That's classic. But I was surprised no one picked stick cricket because I think it was recently voted best cricket game of all time, actually. Simple, but
Really?
effective.
Well, I was thinking, I reckon in the absence of us obviously not having a PS4 and being in isolation, between that combo, I think there was a real target audience for us playing each other in stick cricket, as in setting the high score, seeing how far we can progress through tournaments.
like it.
So I think that's an area that we can explore most certainly.
Without a doubt.
They've got like stick sports, by the way. Like we can compete in stick tennis, baseball, etc.
Yeah, I'm with you. And another one that was top of the list was Rocket League, which I'd never heard of before, but obviously very popular because we had quite a few people say that was their favourite game. AFL, F1, Wii Sports got a mention, particularly golf from Matt Phillips, Rugby 08 as well.
Game.
Good. Yeah.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports. That's strong. And that's like physically active too, that one.
Yeah, no, I love Wii Sports. I actually reckon the baseball on Wii Sports helps me leave the ball better in cricket because I have to watch the ball really hard to see whether it's a splitter and I have to leave it or missing, left or right. So
Totally.
it's good
I've
practice.
never played before, but
I
thank
always
you very
thought the
much
leave
for
was
talking
your
me
best
through
shot,
it.
Has.
Oh, actually, we should leave a few more, to be honest. Making them. All right, can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll do us.
Oh, that's really annoying in terms of me getting votes at the end. I've just played birds chirping instead of the changing topic.
Now when you're ready.
Okay, now, obviously, we always try and give Haz a little bit of scope here because he manages to trawl through sporting news, and even when there is no sport happening, he has still managed to bring us some sporting news. So, Haz, what have you got for us in terms of topics here?
Well, I wanted to bring up the point, how has horse racing managed to keep going even though pretty much every other sport has been stopped by now? Like, how can sports like golf and tennis, where competitors make no contact, be stopped when horse racing is going still? I mean, yes, there might not be contact between the races, but there's things going on behind the scenes. You know, the jockeys are talking to each other. It's no different to other sports like golf and
we
tennis.
already know how Mitch feels about horse racing at the
I've
best
been
of
calling for
times.
it to stop for ages.
It's the one that's lived on the strongest after all the controversy. I think it has started to dwindle in a few states, but
Can horses contract coronavirus? That may be a dumb question, but
Well, I don't have the answer, so it can't be that dumb.
I think I heard that like a tiger at SeaWorld or some sort of animal park contracted it from a handler.
is it, first of all, is there tigers at SeaWorld?
Yes, probably not. For a dream world or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, even race car drivers are competing on simulators against each other. Like I saw professional V8 supercar races, Indy races, and Formula One drivers are all coming up against each other on virtual races online. So,
What do you think about that? How like realistic? Like if you won a competition, would you take that seriously? Are you stoked about that?
Well,
Others would, I assume.
yeah, well, I heard the V8 supercar racer saying that he'd spent hours on end practicing on this virtual simulator. I think you actually have a steering wheel. You sit in a seat which actually moves when you drive the car, so it's very realistic.
Okay.
And he was saying he'd done 300 or 400 laps plus preparing for this race against the other professionals. So obviously meant a lot to him.
Yeah, right. But it's just interesting. It's like almost a totally different sport. Like the same people are competing in it. But
Very odd. What about in terms of AFL and NRL? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of
I guess
talk.
I should make that question a little bit more specific. What are your thoughts on nothing?
Yeah, how
what are your thoughts on
the
how they've
entire
handled
history
the whole
of those
thing?
two sports?
Yeah.
Has
Do you like the sports?
a brief synopsis.
Of course, I wanted NRL to go on for longer because I wanted to
that's
watch
right.
it, and we had
And for your Supercoach, obviously.
Supercoach going, that I love, so I'm missing out on that. But
And I was beating you in Supercoach. And by I mean we. Thanks for your help there, by the way.
Pleasure.
it probably had to stop with everything going on. But I love the idea of taking every player and person involved up to a remote North Queensland ground and then housing them there and making them play, because that means more rugby league on TV for me, and hopefully more money for the game. Could have spread it to ESPN in America with no sport going on and got them watching NRL. But obviously, it was just all too hard.
I do feel like I'm all for, like, I am a bit bored. I would love something to watch, but I found that first round, first 2 rounds for NRL, first round for AFL, I found really odd to watch with no people in the crowd. Like, I probably didn't realize how big of a role spectators play in sport, because I just found them so odd. Like,
Yeah.
I could hear people getting tackled,
Yeah,
and I could hear the ball hitting people's foot in AFL.
And what the players were saying and
And what
stuff.
the
It
players were
genuinely
saying.
felt like I was down at Alex Hills watching the seniors.
Well, it was the same amount of spectators. So.
Personally, it didn't bother me one bit. I still loved it. Didn't affect the viewing at all.
Yeah, but that's because you're such an individual person, you love sticking to yourself, and we're like social, outgoing, me and Mitch.
Well, I'm not.
No.
Yep. Okay. Sure. Another thing I was thinking was maybe the football code just need to give all the players an Alchemy Australia immunity booster pack.
Here we go.
It's our first week with a sponsor, and we managed to weave it in. Genius.
Well, it comes with 2 golden turmeric elixirs, one unsweetened and one original, which is probably for someone with a bit more of a sweet tooth like myself. A Beyond Beetroot elixir and a Matcha elixir.
Matcha,
something for everyone. That'll get them sorted, improve their immunity, ready to make plenty of body contact, exchange body fluids.
I think it's actually potentially a Maho matcha. M-A-H-O. Is that right?
Oh, that's probably right. I got that wrong.
That's all right.
done, Haz. Close
There's also
enough.
got an asterisk next to it, and the asterisk says that it indicates magic. So that's ideal.
I haven't tried that one yet, but
Yeah, well, that's a shock.
no, I tried the
As
turmeric.
is strictly on the chocolate one.
So another so-called sport going on at the moment is wrestling. WWE, that is, that type of wrestling. So there are no crowds, and it's not a team sport, but there's a lot of body contact going on. And again, like racing, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of surfaces being touched by people. And I'm pretty sure pretty much every TV show and movie set has been halted for production right now. So it's hard to see how WrestleMania is going ahead at the moment.
Very hard
agree.
to see how WrestleMania goes ahead at any stage. But
Not a big fan.
that harms.
Did you guys watch too much of it when you were a kid?
No,
I
not at all.
don't know if I ever watched it.
I didn't even know The Rock was a wrestler originally. I thought he was just an actor.
Yeah.
No, a mate of mine got me into it, and I used to watch it every week. The SmackDown and Raw. Rey Mysterio is my favorite wrestler.
Right.
Mine's John Cena.
Oh, yeah.
I used to play the PlayStation game on my PlayStation 1.
There's just some things I learn more about you all the time, and they still just things that don't surprise me whatsoever.
I probably should mention one other sport. There are actually some sports going on at the moment. So the Belarus top tier soccer league is still going on somehow. Spectators are still allowed to go and watch as well, but they were given a squeeze of hand sanitizer on the way in.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes it better.
Where is that? Where is Belarus?
It's in Europe. But yeah, apparently the president of the country loves his football that much and decreed that it must continue, saying he doesn't want to limit the movement of people and that it's better to die standing than to live on your knees.
Wow.
That was the president's comment.
Okay. I'm looking up their coronavirus stats now. That's
I think, yeah, correct. It's better. Wait, say that again.
The Belarus president said it's better to die standing than to live on your knees.
That's probably the new mantra for the show. I
think if you've got coronavirus,
podcast.
you're probably not going to be standing when you die. You're going to be in a hospital bed.
That's right. Often you don't see that many people that die standing, really. Probably most of them get into a horizontal position at some stage.
here we go. They've got
Coronavirus.
700. What's their population?
Well, it's probably more than 700.
Thank you, Lethal. So they've got 9.5 million people and 700 cases.
The president's just not allowing anyone to get tested because he doesn't want to face
that's
the
right.
reality.
not
He's just
great
like, guys, you got a
either.
flu. You know, do your thing. You'll be all right. Take some cold and flu tablets.
Yeah, very fair.
Perfect.
Very, very fair. Every time. Okay. Now, one new initiative that has come to the podcast headquarters for this particular season is that we have introduced a BOG award, Best on Ground or Most Valuable Player, whichever acronym you want to sort of
I'm not sure I
stick
want
with.
to win the BOG award, but
Well, you rarely do.
Highly prestigious.
So, yeah, okay, fair. We'll go with the MVP then, Skin. Is there anything else? We can come up with a more creative name than that, I'm sure. We're intelligent people that have been to Sheldon College.
Yeah, true. Az, what do you got?
One of us.
Nah, not on the spot.
Nah, not definitely not. So essentially here, guys, all that we need to decide is you'll see it's a very well drawn table, and took a lot of time to create this. You'll see that a guest has already got top marks. The guest has already been voted as best on. Now we haven't really set any rules or parameters around this. We're actually doing that live at the moment.
Yep.
But essentially, we just need to work out who was best on ground. Each time for each episode, we'll chart it, and we will make sure that at the end of the season there's some sort of reward for anyone that's betted on the correct podcaster. Do we fit that category
Host?
yet? Can we call each other host?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, what are we basing this on? Is it general banter, preparation beforehand, ability to press buttons?
I think ability to press buttons should be not in.
you had a mare on that front today, haven't you?
Well, I think it can encompass all of those things, really, Skin.
Okay.
Because it's your award. It's something that's just up for debate. I'm sure it'll become more honed and more specific over time, but I think it should encompass a great deal. So I'll start by obviously presenting my arguments. I thought Skin strong in the social media, like social sin bin type of situation. I've never seen you take on your own topic like that.
Yeah, no, thanks. I've never seen me get through that many words in a row either.
That's right. Has unbelievable in terms of esports preparation. And then what did I do well? It's probably story, robbery to create content, being robbed, organising that.
Yeah,
Fake.
organise that.
Should we do
fake
like
news? Yeah.
each person has to vote, but they can't vote for themselves?
Are we going can't vote for yourself? Because I was definitely voting for me.
I could see that that's exactly where it was going, even though your
where I was
argument was
angling.
already weak. But
Okay.
I think that has to be the rule. Can't vote for yourself.
All right. In that case, I'm going to Has. Has gets my vote.
Okay, well, there you go, because Has, you also get my vote.
Well, I was going to say Mitch, but I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
there's only one person that got no votes. Skinner.
That would be you.
Oh, all right. All right. Has, you've got your first sticker. Very well played.
Yes.
Well done, Has.
Oh, it even says well done.
In a
Skin
tie lead
on the
with
sticker.
with John Millman, who we pre-recorded and voted that he was best on ground for
Yeah,
the
he
last
didn't vote for
episode.
himself either,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No, and we haven't released that yet, but he does put on a clinic.
Guys, you will notice if I avert your ears to the background music that I can only mean one thing, and it's A, that there's a song playing again, which we're quite fond of, and B, that it's time to wrap up.
Yeah.
That's
Is
all
this
we
the
have
same
time for.
song, or is this?
That's the same song, yeah. Skinner. We commit to one
Sorry.
song per week.
A lot of piano going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if it really fits our
No,
podcast.
I don't know. And I feel like we talk slower with this music going on in the background, but we're not rushing through the.
Yeah, but it's thoughtful. It's very thought-provoking, I would say. So, guys, that brings us to a close for episode 37. Great episode that it was. And we heard from someone. We heard from someone that just wrote into us on social media. So that opens the door for a few people. If you've got any great stories and great segment ideas, that we would definitely encourage you to get in touch with us. And Mitch, how can people do that?
They can send us an email at hello@wegotthechocolates.com.au or contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Just reach out to us, and if you're struggling to find those, just head over to a nifty little website, wegotthechocolates.com.au, and you'll find all the links you need and a little contact us.
Yeah, we didn't even reach
Form.
out. We didn't reach out for Butters. He just reached out to us, and,
He reached
and
out.
it was great
Yeah,
content. So
there
we
was
got him on
no-
there.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like only one person reached. And I guess we reciprocated the reach.
Yeah.
But he was the initial reacher.
Yeah.
Jack
So
Reacher.
Well done to Butters.
Yeah.
So
Thank
if
you
you've
very
got
much,
anything
Butters.
worth talking about, get a hold of us.
Yes. Thank you for coming on. Now, guys, also, if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple, we would definitely appreciate you subscribing and giving it a rating, and preferably quite a high rating would obviously help us out quite a bit. So we appreciate all the people that have done that already, and we would encourage you to do that as well. And aside from that, really, we just, thank you very much for listening again. Is there anything else we have to say, guys?
I again just want to mention that giving us a share on social media also helps, and we've seen that this week where Lethal got over 4,000 shares. If you
Yeah,
could get
it's not
one
that hard, guys.
Yeah, if you could
Come
get
on.
one of our episodes to do something like that, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Most certainly. Has any final words?
Over and out.
Outstanding. Well, let me just fade this little song out. We'll have a new one to trial again next week. Aside from that, guys, thank you very much for being with us. Good luck in the future.
Good God.